morning, everyone. So, this is the first class of Introduction to Political Theory, and the code is BPSC 131. So, I am Sonali Bhardwaj, and we will learn about Introduction to Political Theory in the following classes. Okay, so first we should see the structure of the whole subject. So, like this is the structure of the whole subject. We have four blocks. And block 1 is regarding introducing political theory, which has two chapters. And in this chapter is we are going to do it today. So we will study in it what is politics and what is political theory. So we study the basic introduction of the political theory. And in block 2, we will study about the concepts regarding liberty, equality, justice, right. And then in 3 also, we will study about the concepts of democracy, gender, citizenship, civil society and state. So, and in chapter 4 is about debates in political theory, in which we will study about the very famous debates in political theory like democracy versus economical growth, liberty versus censorship, productive discrimination versus principle of fairness, family, law, and state. So there are 4 blocks and the 14 units in total, which we will study in the classes. So we are starting from the block 1, which is introduction to political theories. So today we will study unit 1 and unit 2. So the first question is, what is politics? So first question which arises in our mind is, what is politics? So in your day-to-day life, many times you are using the word politics. So, for example, if you see a cricketer manipulating to stay in the team, or a student trying to use his father position, like my father is in this position, my father is IAS, my father is a teacher in the school, my father is principal in the same school, or a colleague in office mindlessly agreeing with the boss. He knows that the boss is wrong. Whatever the boss is saying is not correct. But instead of his, he is mindlessly agreeing with the boss because he want to maintain some position in the office. So he want to be in the good books of the boss. So what we usually say that person is playing dirty politics. Okay, so disillusioned by such pursuit of selfishness, we despair of politics. We generally say, I'm not interested in politics. Politics is not my cup of tea. I'm going to stay away politics. I left the job because there was too much politics there. Okay, and I don't like politics. I will never involve in the politics. So these are the like common sentences which we are using in our day-to-day life. So it is not only the ordinary people who talks about the politics. Even businessmen and entrepreneurs routinely blame politics for their vows, even as they benefit and fund various political parties. You will see the various businessmen or entrepreneurs who are giving funds to the political party, and like they are saying, if we don't like politics, we don't want to involve in politics. Cinema stars also complain of politics, though they seem to be adept at the game once they join it. Okay, you will see many stars talking about the politics. When Sushant Rajput died, many stars said he is died because of the politics in the film industry. Ranaut always talk about the politics and the nepo kids and etc. In the film industry. So this is very common when we are talking of the politics in our daily life. But politics is not only this. If somebody is saying against us If somebody is playing some dirty things, so we said it is politics. Okay, it is like more than it. So Max Weber, in his famous lecture of 1918, has said politics as a vocation. Started by proposing that the concept of politics was extremely broad based. He said politics is not narrow. Okay, when we are talking only कि this has done the politics, so we are talking about the narrow meaning of it. But it is extremely broad based. And it comprises any kind of independent leadership in action. So what he was saying, he's saying there is independent leadership in action. In whatever context such leadership in action exists, politics is present. Means whatever the context is, if the leadership in action exists, means politics is present. This is according to the Max Weber. So we will see that politics exists in any context when there is a structure of power and a struggle for power in an attempt to gain or maintain leadership position. So everywhere there is a politics when there is a structure of power and there is a struggle for power. Why? Because in order to gain and maintain leadership positions. Or we can say it is activity by which groups reach binding collective decisions. Okay, when the group take collective decision through attempting to reconcile differences among their members. So this is also the politic when the groups are taking the collective decision and they are attempting to reconcile differences among their members, or they are taking some decision. Okay, this is also politics. So now the next question is, what is the state? So taken from the Latin word stare, a state is a political community that occupies a definite territory. Okay. So there is a first condition is it's a political community, and second, a definite territory. Having an organized government, okay, a political community which has a definite territory and which is having the organized government with the authority to make and enforce laws without the consent of a higher authority. Okay, and it is synonymous with the term country and the nation state. But it should not be confused with the word nation, which is defined as a unit or group of people united by some common bond. Okay, so or we can say it is a political entity that has sovereignty over a specific territory and a group of people. Okay, so similarly, as we talked in the earlier definition, it is a political community, yeah, entity that has sovereignty, means the state can make his own laws. But it has a government who can make his own law and over a specific territory and a group of people. So there is a specific territory and there are some groups of people. It has authority to enforce rule. For enforcing rule, the state has not to take the permission of some exterior person, exterior people. So whoever the people living in the territory of the state can make laws and enforce rules on them, and is often referred to as country. Okay, so India is a state in the political sense. Okay. According to the 1933 Montevideo Convention, a state must have the following qualification to be considered a person of international law. So, what the convention has said that a state, we can recognize a state if it has a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the ability to enter into relation with other state. Okay, so like if we talk about any state, it has a permanent population. Here, just we are not talking about the state which a country, like if you said ki, we generally ask the question how many state and union territories we have, so we have 29 states. No, we are not talking about that state. From the definition you have understood that we are talking of a political entity, okay, which has a specific territory and a group of people, and it has the ability to enter into relation with other states. So this is state. I think now you have understood properly what is the state and what is politics. Okay. So now we come to the political theory. What is political theory? So political theory is a set of specified relationships encompassing political matters that focus and organize inquiry to describe, explain, and predict political events on behavior. So, what is political theory? It is a set of specified relationship which have political matters, and these focus and organize inquiry. They can describe, explain, and predict political events and the behavior in the politics. So it is considered as a basis and the branch of political science. Yeah, it is different from the political science, but it is a branch of the political science which attempts to arrive at generalization. Political theory do some generalization, some inferences or conclusions to be drawn from the data gathered by other specialists, not only in political science, but throughout the whole range of human knowledge and experience. Okay, so the political theory arrives at the generalization, it influences the conclusion, which it drawn from the data gathered by other specialists. And these other specialists are not only in the political science, but they are throughout the whole range of human knowledge and experience. And from ancient Greece to the present, the history of political theory has dealt with the fundamental and perennial ideas of political science. And it reflects upon political phenomena, processes, and institutions, and on actual political behavior by subjecting it to philosophical or ethical criteria. And all the most dominant political theories, the theories, political theories which are dominant, the approaches of political theories which are dominant, realize all three goals, such as to describe, explain, and predict. Means all the dominant political theory used to describe, explain, and predict the political behavior. And these theories are the result of thought and research of many scholars and exponents of political science. So it is not like that the theory emerges in vacuum and theory emerges in 1 or 2 days. No. These theories can predict the political behavior because these are the result of thought and research of many scholars and exponents of political science. Thinker on the subject formulate definitions of various political concepts and establish theories. So, the thinkers have given the different definition of political theory. Like David Helm described that political theory is a network of concepts and generalizations about political life. So, what is political theory? It is a network of concepts and generalizations about political life, and what political life contain, which involves ideas, which involve assumptions, which involve statements about the nature, purpose, and key features of government, state, and society, and the political capability of human being. So, what political theory generally is, It is the network of different concepts and generalization. When somebody, when the dominant theories are there, and when somebody is making the theory, means he is doing some generalization about political life. And these ideas, these assumptions are and these statements are about the natural purpose, nature, purpose, and key features of government, state, and society, and about the political capability of human beings, what the human beings can do, what the political leaders can do, what are their ideas, assumptions, and statements. So, we can see various terms which are interrelated with political theory. Sometimes we think they are synonym with the political theory, but no, it is not like that. There is a difference between the political theory and these terms. So, a distinction can be made between political theory and similar terms like political philosophy, like political thought, like political ideology, and like political science. And sometimes we treat them interchangeably, but no, there is a difference between each and every term. So, now we will discuss what is the difference between these terms. So, political theory and political science. You all know political science. You have studied the political science in like up to some who has taken the political science in the humanities stream has studies about the political science, and some those who have not taken humanities in the in the 11 12, those who have studies up to 10. So it is a comprehensive. What is political science? It is a comprehensive subject or field of study of which political theory is only a subfield. So we can see we have earlier discussed, and also political science is a comprehensive term. So political science includes political theory. Political science is a bigger field, and political theory is a subfield of political science. So in political science, it includes everything. It includes political thought, it includes political theory, it includes political philosophy, political ideology, institutional or structural framework, comparative politics, public administration, international law and organization, etc. It includes everything. Okay, but political theory is a subfield of political science and is neither pure thought nor pure philosophy and not pure science. Okay, so this is the difference between political theory and political science. Now, political theory and political thought. So sometimes we use the term interchangeably. No, but they don't necessarily mean the same thing. It is a generalized term which comprises all thoughts, theories, and value of a person or a group of person of a community on the state and question related to the state. So, what is political thought? It is a generalized term which comprises all thoughts, theories, and value of a person or a group of persons or a community on a state and question related to the state. So, any person expressing his view, whether he is a professor, whether he is a journalist, whether he is a writer, whether he is a novelist, poet, etc. And of course, if he is a politician, that has a bearing in our lives, and that is about the state and governments and related question, that he is engaging in political thought. So, any person who is expressing his view, whether he is a poet, whether he is a writer, whether he is a politician, whether he is a professor, whether he is some leader, So whatever thought he is expressing, he is engaging in political thought. Okay. So, but political thought is always of persons or group, while political theory is self-contained and self-standing explanation or speculation or theory attempting to answer questions and explain history, and they predict likely events in the future. So, what political theory is doing? Political theory is attempting to answer questions. Okay, when we are studying the political theory, we can answer some questions, we can explain history and predict likely events in the future. And of course, this theory is always some individual thinker's creation. Theory is made by the human, and the theory is made by the woman, and it is made by the thoughts of the person. ठीक है, we cannot deny this idea कि theory is made by the human and human is thinking. That's why he is researching something. He is researching, he is reading, he is experimenting, he is thinking, and then he made that theory. So Barker has commented that while political thought is the immanent philosophy of a whole age, political theory is the speculation of particular thinker. Okay, so what is political theory? It is a philosophy of the whole age. What is my philosophy? Like, what is the philosophy of that person who is talking about, who is thinking about the politics, who is saying some political thoughts? So that is his philosophy. And political theory is the speculation of particular thinkers. So this is the difference between political thought and political theory. Now, difference between the political theory and political philosophy. So philosophy, the word philo plus sophia. Okay, it is taken from the word, it is a combination of the word philo plus sophia, means love for wisdom. Okay, so it is said that philosophy is search of truth. So this is philosophy. So when this search is on political topics, we call it political philosophy. Okay, so it may not necessarily have a theory to propose, and that is the distinction between political philosophy and political thought, and political philosophy and political theory. So while political theory is a part of the political philosophy, mostly political philosophy is much wider and need not necessarily be comprised of any theories. So they may have or they may not talk about the theories. And philosophy, sometimes political philosophy is not often concerned with the contemporary issues, but it connects with the universal issues in the political life of a man. What are the universal issues in the political life of a man? So the political philosophy talks about that issue. But a political theorist is looking at contemporary political life. He looks at the contemporary political life mostly, and he is interested in explaining the nature and the purpose of the state and general questions also. And he is also looking to describe and understand the realities of the political behavior. That what is the why some person is behaving like that. Okay, so in political theory, when we study the political theory, we get the answer of these questions. The actual relations between the state and the citizen and the role of power in the society. So in the political theory, we read the contemporary issues, but political philosophy does not always deal with the contemporary issues, and it is dealing with the universal issues in the political life of a man. So this is the political theory and political philosophy. Now, next and the last is political ideology and political theory. So, ideology is a systematic and all embracing doctrine which attempts to give a complete and universally applicable theory of human nature and society, along with a detailed programming of attaining it. Okay, so it is an ideology, is a very systematic and all embracing doctrine and universally applicable theory of human nature and society, along with a detailed program. John Locke is often described as the father of modern ideology. Okay, you have also studied about the Marxism. Okay, this is a type of ideology. This is a type of like various thoughts which became the ideology. So Marxism is also a classic example of ideology summed up in the statement that the purpose of the philosophy is to change and not merely interpret the world. All political ideology is political philosophy, though the reverse is not true. Political ideology are political philosophy, but political philosophy is not political ideology. So reverse is not true. According to Gamine and Sabine, political ideology is a negation of political theory because an ideology is of recent origin and under the influence of positivism is based on subjective, unverifiable value preferences. Okay, so ideologies of recent origin and it is under the influence of positivism is based on some subjective. What is what Marxism is thinking, what the ideology of Marxism is different from the ideology of some other ideology. So it is purely subjective. It is unverifiable. We cannot verify it. Okay, so this is the political ideology. Now we have discussed the different terms which are identical with the political theory. Now we study about developments in political theory. So when we are talking of the developments, means we are talking about the changes. So developments in political theory always reflect the changes which occur in our society. So these are produced in response to the challenges which emerge at different times. When we come across with the challenges, and then the changes come and the political theories are produced. So political theorists, while indulging in theorization, they pursue ideas not for the sake of fulfillment of their fantasies, but in order to search those principles whose understanding can make life better. And in this enterprise, theorists by and large are motivated by the concrete political situation. It is, however, true that the stimulus for theory always come from sort of failure. So why we need theory? Why the people think about making some theory? Why the people come up with an idea? So the stimulus for the theory always comes from some sort of failure. You come up with a new idea, we come up with a new experiment when we are not happy with the existing one. So similarly in the kind of political theory. And they so from some kind of failure and a related conviction that things can be bettered through an improved understanding and may ultimately be resolved. So when we are not happy with the existing things, when the existing theory, and when we see that this is some kind of failure and we need some better option, so with improved understanding we come up with an idea of some theory with many researches, with many thoughts, with many experimentation. Hence political theory task is not limited to improve a fleeting response and getting contented with a compromise. Rather, it has to reach at the root of the problem and has to discover the remedies in the form of an alternative set of principles. So these are the developments in political theory. Why the developments in political theory takes place? So why the changes in the political theory takes place? Now we talk about approaches in political theory. So three different conceptions emerge in political theory on the basis of which both and the past theories can be conceptualized, judged, and evaluated. They are historical, normative, and empirical. So these actually approaches in political theory. We can see these approaches at traditional and modern. In traditional, ठीक है, we talks about historical, normative. Okay, so now what is historical approach? So as the name is saying, historical. So theorists who developed this political approach focused on the historical factors like the age, place, and the situation in which it is evolved are taken into consideration. So historical approach means historical factors are taken into consideration, like age, place, and the situation. This approach is related to history and it emphasizes on the study of history of every political reality to analyze any situation. So what this approach is doing, it emphasizing on a study of the history of any political reality. It is always said now to know the present, to know the future, or to move towards future, you should know your past. So without knowing our past, we cannot move towards our future. We cannot live in the present when we don't know about past. Okay, our past tells us about our limitations, about our abilities, about our good deeds, about our mistakes. So it is very important to read the past. So this historical approach do the same thing. Various political thinkers like Dunning, Machiavelli, Sabine, he considered that politics and history are closely related, and the study of politics always should have a historical standpoint. So what they said कि politics and history are closely related, and the study of politics always should have a historical standpoint. So for knowing the politics in a better way, for knowing the political theory, we should always consider their history. Okay. So we are when we are studying the political science also, you used to study about the history of different revolutions and different protests. So why this is so? Because it is very important to know about the history of the political events. So this approach strongly maintains the belief that the thinking or the dogma of every political thinker is formed by the surrounding environment. And furthermore, history provides details of the past as well as it also links it with the present event. Okay, so what the history is doing? History provides us the details of the past, and through it we can also link with the present event and we can also move forward. Okay, so whatever we are thinking, so this approach also maintain the belief that whatever we are thinking, whatever the political person is doing, whatever political thinker is doing, is his thinking is formed by the surrounding environment. He is not thinking in a vacuum. He is not alone in the society. So whatever he is thinking because of the society, because of the surrounding environment. So history gives the chronological order of every political event, thereby helps in future estimation of events also. So when we get a order of every political event, and we can estimate our future also, we can predict the some future also. Therefore, without studying the past political events, institutions, and political environment, it would be like difficult to analyze the present political events. Okay, so it will be like we cannot analyze the present political events if we don't know about the history of these dot events. Okay, so it is very important approach in the political science. Now, normative approach. The normative conception in political theory is known by different names. So, there are other names of normative approach like philosophical theory, ethical theory. Some call it philosophical theory, some call it ethical theory. And it is based on the belief that the world and its event can be interpreted in terms of logic, purpose, and ends with the help of the theorist intuition, reasoning, insight, and experiences. So, what normative conception has belief? It, the normative conception is based on the belief that all the events of the world can be interpreted in terms of logic purpose. Means there is a logic of every event, there is a purpose of every event, and this and with the help of the theorist reasoning, insight, and experience, intuition. In other words, it is a project of philosophical speculation about values. The question which are asked by the normatives would be, what should be the end of the political institution? Okay. What should inform the relationship between the individual and other social organization? So, who is responsible? What are the factors which are responsible for the relationship between the individual and the social organization? And what arrangements in society can become model or ideal, and what rules and principles should govern it? So, what are the arrangement in the body which can become model, which can be the ideal, and what are the rules and principles behind it, so that some arrangements can be become the ideal arrangements. Okay. One may say that their concerns are moral and the purpose is to build an ideal type. Hence, it is these theorists who have always conceived utopia in the realm of political ideas, though their powerful imagination. So they want to make the ideal type. Okay, everything is of ideal type, and their concerns are moral. So this political theory leans heavily towards a political philosophy because it derives its knowledge of the good life from it. Okay, what is the good life? What is the moral life? What is the ideal one? And also uses it as a framework in its endeavor to create absolute norms. So to make the norm, he uses the normative political theory, he uses the political philosophy because philosophy teaches what ought to be and what not. Okay, what ought to be and what not. So what should we do or what not? What is good for us? What is not? So political philosophy talks about the logic. Okay, and that's normative political theory talks about. In fact, their tools of theorization are borrowed from political philosophy, and therefore they always seek to establish interrelationship among concepts and look for coherence in the phenomena as well as in their theories, which are typical examples of a philosophical outlook. Okay, so this is about the normative approach of political theory. Now the empirical approach. So century is not normativism, but another conception known as empirical political theory. Now the empirical observations. An empirical political theory refuses to accord the status of knowledge to those theories which indulge in value judgments. Like in the narrative approach, we are talking about the value judgment, but empirical approach refuses to accord the status of knowledge to those theories which indulge in value judgment. Naturally, therefore, normative political theory is debunked as a mere statement of opinion and preferences. So, empirical approach denied that there is nothing like the value judgment. So it denied those theory which are indulged in the value judgment, yeah, which normative political theory have faith in them. The drive for value-free theory started in order to make the field of political theory scientific and objective. So what they talk about? They talk the theory should be value-free, and the emergence of political theory should be scientific, should be objective, and hence a more reliable guide for action. This new orientation come to be known as positivism. So the empirical approach talks about the scientific method and objective. And under the spell of positivism, political theories set out to attain scientific knowledge about political phenomena based on the principle which could be empirically verified and proved. So the principle of making theory should be empirically verified and proved. Okay, so they want to attain some scientific knowledge, and scientific knowledge, how scientific knowledge can be earned. Okay, scientific, what is science? Which could be, science is empirically verified and proved. So they talk about the political theories. They have to be like that. And this empirical project in political theory was premised on the empiricist theory of knowledge, which claimed to have the full-blown criteria to test what constitute truth and falsehood. So they have claims, they have the empiricist theory of knowledge. They constitute truth and falsehood. Okay, what is truth and what is falsehood? An essence of this criteria is lodged in the experimentation and the verification principle. That theory, there should be theory. If there is, they are making any theory. Yeah, the people who support empirical approach, they fully approve. They fully should satisfy the experimentation and the verification principle. The theory should be the theory should be verifiable. The theory should be empirically verified and proved. When political theory was reeling under this influence, a so-called revolution started and became popular as behavioral revolution. This revolution reached a commanding position within political theory in the 1950s and engulfed the entire field of study and research by advocating new features. And this empirical project in political theory was premised on the empiricist theory of knowledge, which claimed to have the full-blown criteria to test what constitutes truth and what constitutes falsehood. So the essence of this criteria is lodged in the experimentation and the verification of the principle, means the principle should be like that, which can be verified. And when political theory was reeling under this influence, a so-called revolution started and became popular as behavioral revolution. And this revolution reached a commanding position within political theory in the 1950s, and it has taken the entire field of study and research by advocating new features. So this was the empirical approach, and it includes encouragement to quantitative technique in analysis, okay, can be susceptible to statistical tests, known acceptance and rejection of the history of ideas, focus on microstudy as it was more amenable to empirical treatment, glorification of specialization, procurement of data from the behavior of the individual, and urge for value-free research. Means there should be no biasness, there should be no subjectiveness. Okay. So the empirical theory talks about the quantity techniques to analysis, to do the experimentation, to do the verification, and talks about the statistical test. Now this is like the modern approach, contemporary approach. So contemporary approach since the 1970, the sole focus of the empiricists and behavioral scholars on science, value-free politics, and methods came under criticism and lost popularity because it failed to address pressing political and social issues. So, from 1970, the sole focus of the empiricists and behavioral scholars, which we studied just now about the empirical approach and the behavioral revolution and the value-free politics. Empiricist approach talks about the value-free politics and method. These all things came under criticism and they all lost popularity because these approach failed to address the pressing political and social issue. So they all failed. They all came under criticism. So there has been a revival of interest in political theory in USA, Europe, and other parts of the world. Thinkers like John, Robert, Habermas, etc., made noteworthy contribution and took up basic issues like liberty, equality, justice, etc. Again, theory again regained the status of legitimate form of knowledge and inquiry, and also the question of what exactly is science, and there emerged many views that change theory again come, and theory was on the question what exactly in science. All the old views, all the old approaches were challenged. So many scholars have the opinion that social science throw up distinctive problem that cannot be grasped by scientific model. This is because perceptions and resulting actions of man vary, and the same phenomena can be viewed differently by different minds who may interpret the social issue differently. So there are various views, there are various perceptions of various people because same phenomena can be viewed differently by different people, and they can interpret the social issue differently. They can interpret the social problems differently. They can interpret the solutions differently. So it is very difficult to do an objective scientific analysis of social issue, which the empirical approach was talking. So it is very difficult. How can be objective? How can there be one solution to each and every problem? So it is very difficult to do an objective scientific analysis of social issues. In society, we all have issues, and we all the issues are different according to their subjective lives. So it is very different to deal with these social issues with scientific rigor. So David Held has said that contemporary political theory has four distinct tasks. So David Held has given the opinion that this contemporary political theory has four different tasks. First, philosophical, empirical, historical, strategic. Philosophical means to focus on the fundamental philosophical position of the normative and conceptual framework. Empirical, to empirically understand and explain the concepts. means empirically see the concepts, to take the data, to take the facts, and then it's verify them. Historical, to examine the important concept in the historical context, and strategic, to assess the feasibility of moving from where are to where we might like to be. So, see, this contemporary political theory has taken all the previous approaches also, and has added some new approach also. Like empirical is there, historical is there, okay, and philosophical or normative is there, and what is added is strategic, to see the feasibility, to see that where we are and where we might like to be. Okay. So today this theory has become very popular, and some points which you should remember about contemporary political ideologies are these ideologies are created from by a huge social movement. Second, equality and democracy is one of the most common part of this ideology. Third, these ideology always challenge different others regulated political ideology. So these are the points. These are 3 points which you should remember when you are talking about the contemporary approach of political theory. So, if we talk about the relevance of political theory in contemporary society, what is political theory? So, political theory is closely related to a number of academic subjects such as history, ethics, sociology, economics, and other areas of study. These subjects provide theories and data which political theories use to construct political theory. So first, why political theory is relevant? Because it is relevant to solving problems. Because it is related to various other subject also, and these subject provides data to the political theorist. Second, knowledge of our rights and duties. So when we study political theory, when we have now knowledge of political theory, then we know what are our rights and what are our duties. We know we have the right to vote, and we have the duties also, and we should choose the best man. Okay, and we should also vote. So, a democratic government implies popular participation in political processes such as elections. So, we have the knowledge of our rights and duty if we study the political theory, if we have the knowledge of political theory. Now, political theory liberalizes the outlook. By studying the political theory, an individual may think more logically about concepts such as equality, liberty, and justice. Political theory teaches us to be tolerant of other people's attitudes or beliefs. And liberty and equality, these are not abstract concepts. These concepts reflect ideals that we should try to follow. An intelligent citizen is committed to liberal ideas and civil liberty. So, political theory widens our thinking. It widens our horizon of thinking. And we think more logically about the concepts such as equality, liberty, and justice and democracy, like this. Next, politics essentially is the art of the possible. Limitations of any government exist, and we all can see them. Okay, there are the limitations of any government. In India also you can see whatever the government is there, we see some limitations of that. So any political functions has to function under different kind of compulsion and constraint. And anything is possible in politics. And on understanding of the politics can be helpful in appreciating factors which bring necessary changes in the society. So, if you know the political theory, if you have the knowledge of politics, You can appreciate the factors. Okay, this factor is good. These changes are coming. This factor is not good. So you can like appreciate the factors appreciate the factors, appreciate the changes which are good for the people. Okay, so you can evaluate the changes in the society. So now a growth in the reasoning power of the mind. So a political concept is not merely a matter of fact or belief, it develops a lot of reasoning. We have, by reading it, by studying the political theory, we come up with a mind which has a lot of reasoning, like different ideologies have been subjected to verification, and political thinkers relied on facts and practical experience. So political theory generates a spirit of reasoning, like why this decision has been taken. Okay, by taking this decision, what our country will get. Okay, what we will get. So this helps students to make arguments or a statement when they participate in debates, when they go for the competition, and they actually widens their knowledge also. Now, so this is all about the importance, like why political theory is important, and the last topic and the last is the importance of theoretical concept. Some like in this topic, question also come explain why it is said the political theory is dead. Yeah, what is mean by the revival of political theory? So there was a time in the middle of the 20th century, many of the right that political theory is dead or political theory in the doghouse. Okay, because they said because the classical tradition in political theory is loaded with value judgment beyond the control of empirical testing. So they get political theories that or political theory in the doghouse. And some like examine the reason ki why this is saying ki that political theory is dead, and what are the reasons for the decline of political theory, and they come up with some ideas ki why it has been said, but it is wrong. Political theory can never be dead. They come up with four reasons of decline of political theory. This is wrong. Berlin has said political theory is neither dead nor in the state of decline. It can be neither dead. So Berlin challenges that there can be never any kind of society, and if such a society exists in the society's goal, they would carry different and incomplete meaning to different person in different situation. So he said there cannot be an age without political philosophy. So then there come the revival of political theory. Okay, so many like George said, he political theory was alive in the works of. He has named some educationists, he has named some thinkers, and he said that political theory was alive in their work. And if political theory is systematic, discipline, investigation of political problem, then it is difficult to say that it was dead in 1950 and 1960. So various new themes have surfaced in the political theory, like communitarians, postmodernism, multiculturalism. So they all themes come up with the when we have said there is revival of the political theory. See all these themes come up with that, like feminism, environmentalism. So in brief, 1950 and 1960 made the area when it is a time when it was said the political theory was there, and in 1970 the work of the scholars like Karl Popper, Berlin. So they all they all revived the political theory. So this is the time when it was said the political theory was all revived. So this is all about your unit 1 and unit 2. This is of block 1. So in the next class we will do the block 2. Some lessons, I think lesson unit 3 and unit 4 of block 2. So this is all about today. I hope you have understood it very well. Okay. So thank you for the class. Okay. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.